Won't have 8 chairs per table, we'll try to limit
Are
that.
there people dancing
from 4
on the
to
tables?
6.
You're
No,
gonna
but you
move,
never know.
you're gonna limit the chairs, and the people are gonna move them anyway. So why
Yes,
bother?
they are.
Right.
Why bother?
I don't need to, well,
Will masks be required?
that's difficult because people can really work up a sweat and breathe heavily while they're dancing. I wouldn't want to go to the dance for that reason. Right.
I'm not going to.
It's again, personal choice. We can put up a sign that says, you know,
I know.
I know.
Just gonna include line dancing?
Vaccinated.
Yes, there'll be those that will line dance, there'll be couple dances, fast dancing. All right, so I have one more question for you, and that is the issue of guests. We just opened up the guest pool to guests. Not that we're getting many right now, but it's when the kids will be out of school. I had thought that if they came to the clubhouse hoping they could see the movie, the guest with the resident, has to be with the resident, that we would allow them in. We wouldn't advertise it, but we would allow them in. And that is the 2 areas that a guest would be able to go, as well as to Picnic Island. But you tell me, I don't think we should open it up completely to guests, but again, your call.
I think we should wait a month.
Guess whose vaccination status is unknown?
Wait, put it next month.
Let's say next month.
Let's wait till next month.
Next month.
So just leave guests for the guest pool right now.
Right.
Actually, I'd like to make a motion to open the Picnic Island to guests.
We don't have
No
any
guests.
guests.
We don't have any yet.
You don't have any guests.
We don't have any yet.
Well, if they, you know, again, I have a woman whose husband passed away and she wants to do a little something, and she was hoping she could use the clubhouse. I'd rather say, you know, you can go out to Picnic Island.
And a certain occasion.
Yeah, I agree.
Take baby steps.
I agree with you, Bob.
Certain occasion.
Where's Patricia?
It's outside.
She all right?
I second Bob's motion.
I want to ask a question.
Go ahead, Barbara.
Are guests passes given out?
No,
No?
right?
Yes, no, remember I sent you a copy of
That
the
was just to
new,
go to the guest pool. She's, her
Oh,
question
yeah.
is guest passes,
Right, thank you.
not guest pool.
no,
The
no.
answer is
So
yes.
there's no guest, no
Right.
guest passes?
Regular guest passes, no.
No.
Just for the pool?
For the pool, but we're now going to amend that to say that they can, if they find them at the pool and at Picnic Island, they will be allowed to stay.
Okay.
If you say that they can go to
Picnic Island.
Picnic
Okay,
Island.
but, okay, because during.
Or, and the movie if you wanted to allow that. So you know, again,
That's
it's your
inside.
choice.
No, that's inside.
I don't think so.
I second Bob's motion.
One at
We
a
have a
time.
motion on the floor
Yes, we do, to open Picnic Island to guests.
to open Picnic Island to guests.
I'll second it.
Okay. We got a second. John, is there any further discussion on this?
Let's just vote on
It's, excuse me.
Go ahead.
David,
Oh,
if there
Fausto.
are no guest passes, why would you open it up to guests? Your
If you
motion,
have guests going to the guest pool, then I think you got guests.
but Eva just said that she's willing to let the people with those guest pool passes go use
Picnic
Duck
Island,
Island.
right.
Your motion doesn't make any sense.
We still have to pass it for her to do it.
She said that they could go to using that,
Am I
they could go.
correct?
She's asking us to vote on it.
Yes, but you have to decide that it will have a secondary function other than guest pool only, that you would allow them on Picnic Island. So we got one more vote.
I see nothing wrong with that.
Call the
Ruth.
question.
But you have to change the ID passes that just says guest pool.
No, just a memo to security letting them know that they don't have to remove them from Picnic Island if they find guests who have that guest pool only pass.
Oh, okay.
Bob, what? Bob, what?
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Richard,
Yeah,
Joyce, yes.
Maureen,
Yes.
Olga,
Yes.
David Israel,
yes.
Ed Grossman,
Yes.
Yes.
Fausto,
Yes.
David.
Yes.
That one's unanimous.
There's one item left.
One more item.
On the agenda, there's one item.
Before we move on,
What do you got?
just want to clarify,
Yes,
just like the pool, that if they go to Picnic Island, they have to be accompanied.
Yes.
Kids just
Yes.
can't go there by themselves.
No,
Same rules.
we,
So
even
everybody
before
knows
COVID,
that.
we don't like children to be by themselves anywhere. We're always asking, where are your parents, where are your
any
grandparents? Yeah.
Just to clarify that.
Listen, you know, so we pull that bad boy out. Everyone knows he's 9 feet 7 inches long.
I saw them do it.
Over the weekend, while that's out there in our waterways, security approached 2 different groups of people fishing. They each had a dog with them right there.
Morons.
That's like, you're ringing a bell saying, come and get it, for
I saw
goodness
them
sake.
take out the alligator, it's amazing.
I know. It is crazy.
I saw them do it.
I saw 2 grandmothers with their toddler grandkids down playing in the water.
Well, it's in my article, and I provided Ruth with a picture of the gator and the information that he's 9 foot 7 inches long. We only have to think about that poor little 2-year-old at Disney,
Oh, God.
right? So, you know, dogs and children should not be along the water's edge. I'm sorry.
All right,
Okay.
you got anything else?
I do. Class, if you will please.
Class?
Class, if you will please pull your, I provided this. Okay, and so this pertains to gate access, and these talks were maybe 2 years ago. And it was, when gate access was first instituted, it has no parameters. You can enter 1,000 numbers if you want to enter 1,000 numbers, and you've got the time to do it. We had discussed the fact that we would limit it from anywhere to 10 to 20. All right, I don't think that's enough even, because when I look at what Roy provided me, people are putting, I wouldn't put them on there, vendors and things like
But
that.
you put an ending, they should be putting an ending date on it.
They do put an ending date, it doesn't fall off the list, which I think, once the date comes, it should be purged.
Right.
So it doesn't just build, because then you've got pages and pages and
Right.
pages.
No, you're,
Eva, we went ad nauseum through this 2 years ago.
We did.
We agreed on 10. Now, Fausto, I believe, just went out and verified. One screen is 11. Past that, you have the guard scrolling and traffic backing up. Why don't we just enforce what we decided?
Well, that's the issue, David. While it was decided, and it's your program, so somebody from UCO would have need to have instructed Roy to put these parameters in. And when I spoke with Roy, nothing's in place.
Here's the problem. Now, we've got some there with 60-plus names.
We do.
And just spew names onto the system. I think, at the very least, it's reasonable to give the unit owners involved the opportunity to pare their list down. But if they don't take that opportunity, we're gonna do it arbitrarily.
yes,
We're just gonna cut it back to 10 names.
First 10.
yes.
So that's a topic you're gonna put on your agenda?
Yeah.
So you're-
There shouldn't be any vendors on that list at all.
Hold on. I mean, you're gonna call in a vendor, but it shouldn't be open-ended.
Right, and then, but you said,
Right?
but you
I
said,
got someone coming in to clean the carpet today,
Right,
but then you remove them.
but you said.
You don't leave them on there forever.
But
right,
That's
but
the
they're
problem.
putting them on this list and they shouldn't. And that's
Right.
why I gave you a sample of what I think would make sense. It's your decision, it's your program, but that you would show them. It should be family, it should be caregivers, and it should be friends. It shouldn't be, you know, Grubhub, well, don't laugh, I've got Lyft on these, Uber, you name it.
Of course.
And they shouldn't be here. And at
Now-
the bottom, there should be a information that they should be taking those particular vendors and they should be calling them in.
By phone.
Right.
Okay,
So
but
they're not doing that.
who is going to prepare the letters to the unit owners? Who's gonna do that? That's what this is hanging up on. If nobody is willing to sit down and do the work.
Well, an email blast to all the boards so they can post a letter written on the bulletin board, giving people a deadline, saying that, you know, you're gonna be limited to any, you decide, 10 or 20?
Yeah, I think it should be 10, but
10.
At a certain date, if you have enough date, it should be.
then we're gonna do it. Maybe just by the last 10 put in.
Put up, do it on your
Arbitrarily.
blog.
No,
and
that
then-
might be
do
your
it on your
vendors.
blog, and then we
The
can.
problem, of course, may be you do it arbitrarily, God forbid you should throw off a critical care nurse, for example.
Yeah, but if you
Go ahead, Barbara.
If you put it on
David,
your,
if you
put it on your
take
blog.
it, not only your blog, Ruth is sitting here, put it in the paper. I don't care, put a half a page. Everybody gets the paper. But at least you have covered yourself as far as advertising it in the paper. If they're not here and they didn't see it,
And on his
that is
blog.
not your problem.
And on this blog where we can print
I
it.
gotcha.
You follow me?
And then also on your blog, where we can print it. You put things on your blog that we can always print, that I put up on my bulletin board.
Yes, that's certainly doable. I think it would be best, but you need a staff to do it, to address the violators specifically. Pare your list down, or we'll do it for you. Fausto.
My suggestion is very simple. We have a couple of months to get this out, either via email, in the paper, at delegate assembly, that the list is not wiped down to 10 by September 1st. We will be happy to do it for you.
Right,
That gives them 2.5 months.
that's a long
The
time.
question that I have, since I saw that list, why does WPRF have 60 people on their permanent guest list?
We don't have a guest list.
Ah,
When I look at what's here, I have a list of employees.
Yeah.
And then I have pages and pages and pages of anyone that goes to the gates and says, I'm going to the clubhouse. Security at the gates is going into under WPRF and entering all of that. None of that is mine.
Okay, so we just
No
found a
one-
niche in the, a niche.
Exactly.
a niche
You
in the-
deny everything.
That's what they tell me, just keep deny, admit to nothing.
Does that work for everybody? I'll make that motion, that over the next couple of
Yeah,
months,
that's
we
good.
media blast, and by September 1st, that's the drop dead date. That'll give us time to contact ABDI, and the top 10 names will stay.
Well, I
I
mean,
don't know
would you
if you
mention
want-
it at delegate assembly?
We will.
Okay.
I don't think you want to do that here, though. There are gates, we've got to take the action,
At the office.
right?
Yeah.
But we have to notify the unit owners, the board members, via every media that we have, the paper, the newspaper.
I have no problem with that.
Okay, and the drop dead date, notify everybody in your building, September 1st.
This is fine.
And ABDI, we will notify them. Top 10 names stay, everybody else goes, including
I think
WPRF.
that's 4 or 5.
Oh, I'm cleaning that out, believe me. But I'm gonna be more specific, but that's a problem. Because if someone just comes to the security and says, well, we're going to the clubhouse, they just automatically type it in. But what if we didn't call them in? We don't call them in. We call in vendors.
So
And I'm
why
gonna
let
have
them-
WPRF employee and WPRF vendors.
So
I
why
should-
let them in?
Yeah, why are they letting them in?
All right, so you're going to purify your list.
But here's
You're
the-
absolutely
wait,
gonna
here's the-
purify
All right, Dr. H.
I think it's
This sounds like a job for the corresponding secretary. Well, you're welcome to
Are you
volunteer,
speaking of
Richard.
Mary Patrick?
You're welcome to volunteer, Richard.
You're right, it would be a job for the corresponding secretary.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
Chinese food delivered. I said to them, do I have to call you in? And they said no. So how come they can just,
They get in.
They may already have
Because they probably
somebody else.
see them so often and so many people are buying from them.
Oh, okay.
That's what it is.
David,
But is that a good idea?
I really think, and I like the idea of waiting till such and such a time. But if you put it in that way, that we're gonna leave the top 10, no one's gonna reduce it. At that date, no one's in the system.
oh boy.
If you don't have yours pared down to 10,
Look.
no one's in there, because everybody will just wait.
Well, we also have those residents who don't have a computer, but that's what my girls in the ID office are for. They can come in and my girls with an ID only, we won't take it over the phone because we don't know who's calling.
Exactly.
We'll put it back in. But those are, I think, also the things that should be at the bottom saying, here's your call-in number for your pizza delivery and for the guy who's gonna blow out your air conditioning system and if you need help entering names, you can go to the ID office and they will help you. So they have other
I vi-
avenues, instructions for them.
I visualize possible liability by arbitrarily throwing all the names off indiscriminately.
Yeah.
I can even see a lawsuit resulting. I really think we need a little squad. It might be 2 or 3 people. We'll make a form letter. We'll send it to the violators, the people with anywhere from 20 to 70 names. What the devil?
That was me, I'm sorry. I have, somewhere I have to be.
That was that space
But
between.
to just arbitrarily throw them off without warning, tricky. Go ahead, Olga.
Is it possible for the Venditti website itself to put that notice on there? That,
Not Vendini.
as
The new
the
website.
new website,
ABDI.
Venditti website.
Sure.
Oh,
That they could say something to the effect of.
Of course we can.
10 guests only.
Yeah, we can do that. I'd like to try to avoid anything that would require ABDI to write additional code, because it's not cheap when they have to start doing software. But yeah, I think that can be done. Yeah, Bob.
This is like anything else in the village, all right? You give somebody an inch, they're gonna take a mile.
Sure.
There's too many abuses and it needs to stop.
Okay.
You sit down and you tell them, your limit is 10. If you don't do it, then you take it away. Simple.
Yeah.
well, could I just
And
add,
then they can come in and redo their whole thing and get it with
well,
them.
the most important numbers are at the top, and I think the biggest thing is caregivers.
Sure.
So for those people who don't pick up the paper and who don't look at David's blog and who don't look at the bulletin board because they're basically shut-ins, that they've made sure that they've got their caregivers on the list, and then suddenly we're wiping it out. So this is again just a suggestion that maybe the first 5 numbers would not drop and everything after that, or the last 5 would.
All right.
My motion was for 10. Why are we going to 5?
Of not dropping off. In other
Of
words,
not
you're-
dropping off, I said, limit the
Okay.
number
10.
to 10. That should be your caregiver, your housekeeper, your children, whoever it is.
All right.
If it's your Chinese food guy, oh well. If that's more important than your family, I shouldn't be worried about that.
No, but they just come
Right.
in, they don't,
Probably is the case.
Not that this shouldn't be done, but this is not the appropriate committee to implement this.
It's up to the offices.
I think it's
All
the
right.
offices.
I think Richard volunteered to do that.
Okay, Donald?
All right, and I agree with you, Dave. This is really a matter for the YUCO officers to
Right,
decide.
right.
This is a YUCO function.
Right.
However, I will make the suggestion, and I know you're trying to avoid paying for extra code, but I'm wondering if that's even necessary. GetAccess.net is used in other communities, and they have limits. Some of them are as low as 3. So why don't we just ask Roy to fix our system so that no one can put in more than 10? And then over time, you'll have attrition on the other list, and it'll
All right.
eventually drop off.
I got nothing wrong with that, but I'd like to try getting people to self-police first.
Sure.
And if that doesn't work, we'll do exactly what you said.
Why don't we just do
We'll
that?
say, write some code, and it shouldn't be hard because the code's already written. And if you try to put in more than 10, it won't work.
Are we voting on your thing?
Yeah, that's doable, of course.
Nobody seconded my motion.
I second.
Oh, okay.
Do we need a motion?
All right.
To limit access code system parameters to 10.
Colin, we've discussed this to death.
All right, look, that's fine, because WPRF does make some entries, so yes, fine. Full speed ahead. Any discussion on this?
No?
Already done. Ruth,
Yes.
Barbara,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Joyce.
Yes.
Maureen,
Yes.
Olga,
Yes.
David Israel,
Yes.
Ed.
Yes.
Okay, Fausto,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
it's unanimous.
Yes.
Are we done?
Can we make a
I
motion to
move to-
adjourn?
Hold on. You got anything
I
else?
don't, except that I'm going to say that even though I'm going to be away for 2 weeks, I'm bringing up the laptop, so I'll be keeping an eye on emails, and anybody who needs to reach me can email me or text me on my phone, or you can call. and I will do my best to respond. And
Have a great time.
thank you. I have to keep up with it all because then you're buried when you get back.
All right. I would gleefully entertain a
I
motion.
made it. A motion to adjourn.
This is a record, by the way.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
We have got costumes.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.